This is Sara with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video is step 2 of our sprinkle donut pillow crochet along. Now in step 1 we did the top of the donut, and I've got the top right here that we made. Whoopsie! In today's video I'm going to show you how to make the bottom portion of the donut. And if you did yesterday's, you're going to go, oh, this is super easy, because it's made exactly the same. The only difference is we're not going to do this color change. It's all going to be made out of our basic donut color, and it's made exactly the same. And what you're doing is you're making a top and a bottom, and then I'm going to show you in our last video, step 3, how to put it together so it has this little edge. And the little edge I decided to do because if you look at a real donut where it's fried on the top and then they flip it over and fry it on the bottom, it makes like this little edge. And so I thought that was kind of fun. Super easy, done with slip stitches. And then I'll show you how to decorate it, how to cinch the inside in so that it looks like a donut, and all those little details in that last video. If you need the supply list, you can get that in the first video, and I'll put that link up here in the corner so you can grab that. And then I also have it all put on a blog for the free pattern and lots of pictures that I did, and I'll put that down in the notes there underneath the video so you can go and get that just in case I haven't said all the stitch counts. Or there's also information on choosing your yarns and of course your supplies, and I'll put that in there for you. Then I'll also put the link up here for step 1 so you can go and do step 1 and make the top part of the donut, because like I said, today's video is step 2 and we're going to be doing the bottom of the donut. I'm going to be using the same color yarn with 2 strands of worsted weight. I'm still going to be using that end hook that's a 9mm. I still need my great big needle with the great big eye, and of course my pair of scissors. We're going to be starting our donut from the center and working out and increasing on each row as we go. So we're going to hold our 2 strands of worsted weight number 4 together, or if you're using a chunky, you'll just have the 1 strand. We're going to make our slip knot, put our hook right through that loop, and chain 4. So there is our 4 chains. The first 3 chains will count as a first double crochet, and then we're going to place 9 double crochets right in that 4th chain. To make a double crochet, you yarn over your hook, you put your hook in the stitch or chain that you're working, and you pull up that loop. You'll have those 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, make sure you grab both of them if you're using 2, and go through 2 loops. Yarn over and go through 2 loops. And you'll see how big that stitch is, and that's why this pillow works up so fast and is so fun. So our chain 3 counted as 1 double crochet, and now we stitched 1 double crochet, so that makes 2. So we need to stitch 8 more double crochets right in that hole. So yarn over, go in that hole, and stitch a double crochet. And I'm going to tell you it's going to get a little bit snug in there. Just keep pushing. Stitch a few, push them over, because I want you to get all 9 double crochets in there. So here's our chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have a few more to go. 8, 9, and 10. There's our 10 double crochets. We're going to take our hook and put it right in the top of that chain 3. Yarn over and pull that through, and then pull that loop that's on the hook right through the loop that's already on the hook. And that's called a slip stitch. And so now we have 10 double crochets all joined together. All right. For row 2, we're going to be placing 2 double crochets in each of the 10 double crochets. So let's chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to place a double crochet right in that same place that we did that chain 3, that same stitch. So that gives us 2 double crochets. And now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the 9 that we have remaining. And we're taking 10 double crochets and turning it into 20. And one thing to watch as you're doing this is not to make your stitches too tightly or it will start to curl up. We want this to lay nice and flat at this point. So we're placing 2 double crochets in each of the 10 double crochets around, and then we're going to join to the top of that chain 3 again. So I have stitched 2 double crochets in each stitch around. So now I have a total of 20. And we're again going to put our hook through the top of that chain 3, pull a loop through, then pull that loop through the loop on our hook, and that's a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 3. Alrighty. Now for our third row, we're going to be doing what I call 1 and 2. We're going to be stitching 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we'll only stitch 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Then the next stitch we'll stitch 2 double crochets, and so we're stitching 1 and 2. And this is going to make our 20 stitches into 30 stitches. So 2 double crochets in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and 1 double crochet in the next. And be sure again not to pull too tightly because this still should be laying nice and flat. And we'll continue this all the way around. 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way around, and then we'll join again to the top of our chain 3. So I completed the third row. I joined to the top of my chain 3 and chained 3. Now for row 4, we're not changing colors like we did for the donut top. On the donut bottom, we're stitching the whole thing out of this same color. But if you want to make yours all different colors, you certainly can. So I chained 3. I'm going to double crochet in that same stitch as that chain 3. And then I'm going to double crochet in the next 2 double crochet stitches. 1 and 2. And then I'll put 2 double crochets in the next double crochet stitch. So for row 4, we're doing or stitching 2 and 2. 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 double crochets in the next. And another thing, I talked about this when we did the front section, make sure you're not stitching too tightly. We want this to lay nice and flat until we begin doing the sides of the donut. So make sure if you feel it pulling or curling up a little that you loosen up and stitch loosely. I'd have a tendency when I'm stitching with more than one strand of yarn to start stitching tight, and I don't know why I do it, but it's just a habit, I think. So for row 4, we're stitching 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch, all the way around. Then we'll join back over here at the top of our chain 3, and we'll chain 3. Here's the completed row of row 4, where we did 2 double crochets and then 2 together. And now we're ready for row 5. On row 5, we're going to stitch it the same, only we're going to have 3 double crochets in between our 2 double crochets. So I've joined to the top of my chain 4, to the top of my chain 3 and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Make sure I don't lose those loops. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead like we did on all our other rows and double crochet right in that same stitch as our chain 3. And then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then the next double crochet, we're going to place 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And this is the way this row will go. We'll have 1 double crochet in the next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochets in the next. So we're doing 2 and 3. And again, we'll do this all the way around our row. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, 2 double crochets in the next, and we'll repeat this all the way around till we get back to our chain 3, and we'll join and chain 3. I completed the 5th row, working all the way around. I joined to the top of my chain 3 and I chained 3. For row 6, it's similar to row 5. The only difference is instead of having 3 individual double crochets between our 2 double crochets together, we're going to have 4. So we're going to begin again the same way we do every row. Place 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. One, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to place 2 double crochets in this next stitch. And this is the way that row 6 will work. 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 double crochets in the next. There we go. And we'll continue this pattern of 2 and 4 all the way around. Again, we'll join at the top of our chain 3, and we'll chain 3. Row 6 is complete. We did 2 double crochets together with 1, 2, 3, 4 individual double crochets between our 2 double crochet groups. Now we're going to be doing row 7. And row 7 is exactly like row 4. The only difference is that instead of the 4 individual double crochets, we're going to have 5. So let's begin again the same way. We join to the top of our chain 3 and we chain 3. We're going to stitch a double crochet in the same stitch as that chain 3. Then we're going to stitch 5 individual double crochets, 1 in each of the next 5 stitches. Three. This is 4. And this is 5. Now we're going to put 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And this row is stitched. There we go. I almost lost my loop there. This row is stitched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual double crochets and then 2 double crochets together. And we repeat that all the way around. And I know I talked about this in the step 1 video, that you can continue the pattern for as large as you like on each row, adding 1 more individual double crochet between your stitches of 2 double crochets together, and make the pillow bigger if you want to. Now, if you made your top of your donut pillow bigger, you're going to need to make your bottom of your donut just as big, because we're going to be piecing them together, and you need to have the same amount of stitches on your end row of your top that you'll have on your bottom, because we'll be stitching them together across the center edge of the donut. Alrighty, so we're going to continue to stitch 2 double crochets together with 5 individual double crochets in between. So here's my 2 together, and then I stitched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual double crochets, and now I'm going to stitch 2 double crochets together, and we're going to repeat this all the way around until we reach back over here, join to the top of our chain 3 and chain 3. We completed the 7th row, and now we're ready to do our 8th row. Now our 8th row is our last row of increase. Just like with the top, our 8th row here, although it was our donut frosting row, was our last row of increase. And because we're making sure that the top is going to fit the bottom, we're stitching them exactly the same in size. Just wanted to reiterate that. If you added rows here to make your donut bigger, make sure you add those rows here on the bottom so that the top and the bottom will fit together nicely. So our 8th row is our last row of increase stitches. And so we'll be doing it exactly the same. The only difference is, instead of those 5 individual double crochets, we will have 6. All right, so I joined to the top, I chained my 3 like we do on every row, and then I'm going to make that double crochet in the same stitch as my chain 3, and then I'm going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches. Alrighty, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we did 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. And of course our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and that counts as 2 double crochets together at the beginning of each row. And then I did my 6 double crochets, and now I'm going to do 2 double crochets together. And then I did my 6 individual double crochets, and now I'm going to do my 2 double crochets together. And that's the way row 8 will work. We're on row 8. 2 double crochets together, 1 double crochet in the next 6 stitches. Here's our 2 double crochets together right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've already got 1 double crochet in the next one, and I'll put a second one in that same stitch. And again, that's how this row for row 8 will work. 6 individual double crochets and 2 double crochets together. Repeat that all the way around. Join to the top of our chain 3 and chain 3. And this will be our last row to increase. I completed that 8th row with the 2 double crochets together and the 6 individual double crochets between. Join to the top of my chain 3 and chain 3. Now, there's no more increases like I already stated, and what we're going to be doing now is working up the sides of the donut. Now let me show you this one. This is the top of the donut. It's stitched exactly the same. The only difference is we have this section of 5 rows in a different color that represents our frosting. And this is the front of it. This is the back. And you can see how the sides sit up. And we want to form that same thing on the bottom of our donut. And the way we do that is we just stitch for row 9 and 10, 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. No more increasing. And I know I told you at the beginning of the video to loosen up a little to keep it from curling up. But on row 9, if you want to go and tighten up just a smidge, you can, because that will help it stand up just a little. And what I do is I just kind of tighten my tension just a small amount, not a lot, with my finger. And everyone holds their yarn differently. But if you want to tighten up your tension just a smidge, let it run through your pinky, and that will help it with the tightening. But you don't have to. I mean, you know, it's not going to make a difference. It's just going to help it stand up. And then once we get them sewed together, it doesn't matter anyway. So for row 9, we're placing 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. And then we're going to join to the top of our chain 3 and chain 3. I finished row 9 here, and you can see it standing up nicely. This is the inside. This is the outside. You can see it kind of has a little bit of a edge. And that's exactly what we're looking for the bottom of our donut. So for row 10, we're just going to repeat row 9, 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. I've already joined to the top of my chain 3 here. And I'm going to make a chain 3. And then like I said, I'm just going to repeat what I just did and stitch 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. Now I will tell you, if you want the bottom of your donut to be taller than the top of your donut, You can add more rows here of just one double crochet around. I like the size of it, but some people have asked if it could be a little taller. And you can do that by just adding more rows of one double crochet in each double crochet around, just to give it a little more height if you want to. So for row 10, one double crochet in each double crochet around, and then again we'll join to the top of that chain 3, and then we'll tie off. I have finished row 10, and you can see it's standing up nicely on the edge. And so I'm going to cut my yarn, leave myself enough to weave in my ends. And something that I do, I just discovered it by accident, is I like to put my hook through the next stitch and pull that loop to the back and then tie off. And it seems like it's a little clumsy sometimes, but it seems like it just makes a nicer finish on the outside. It's just a preference. You don't have to do it that way. All right, let's take a minute, use that great big needle with the great big eye, and let's weave in these ends so we're nice and neat. So we're going to go right in those stitches. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Because we want our donut to stay together. We don't want it to fall apart. And I like to do about 3 good stitches. That way I know it's going to stay. I go one way, go back the other, then go back the other. Clip that off. And I've also got this one in the middle here I need to tie off. I'm going to do that really super quick. The tail's a little short, so I'm probably just going to go one way. And since it's the inside, I just keep going around that circle. And it's a good idea, if you can, to try to get into some of the fibers of the yarn to help it stay put. Give it a good yank and clip that. So now we have a bottom and we have a top. And I'm going to show you in our next step, on step 3, how to sew the top and the bottom together using slip stitches, how to stuff it, and different types of decorations that you can use to make your donut.